Empowering women as economic, political, and social actors can also change policy choices and have positive spillover effects on society at large.
Every woman who climbs to the top needs to turn around and make sure that she left the ladder standing so that the next woman coming up can use it. Too often, the struggle for women's rights is framed as essentially protecting victims. I'm not denying that there is a great deal of violence and injustice around the world, or that it victimizes women and girls, but women, and I have only to look around this room to confirm this, are not intrinsically weak or passive. On the contrary, when we are given a level playing field to work with, when we are free to claim our rights, we are extremely powerful drivers.
I feel very deeply, and I think all of you are feeling also very deeply, that we inherited great progress from our predecessors. I mean, we are in a generation that is more or less having the advantage of women who fought in very more difficult situation that we did. And it is our obligation now to open the door, to let the doors open, and to invite the next generation to continue this struggle.
We have to empower women. We have to be 50% of decision making. Half of the world, half of the power.
The rights of women should not be a gift by the president or the wife of the president. It should be a stable right in the constitution. Nobody should take it from the women. It's not a gift by the president to women. It's their right. They are half of the population. They are human beings. They are citizens, equal to the men.
When you do your work as lifetime Goodwill Ambassador of UNHCR, when you meet so many young refugees around the world, really having to live and overcome very adverse conditions, what do you tell them? What kind of inspiration do you give them?
Well, to be honest, it's what they tell me that really counts. And I would say that my greatest inspiration are the refugees themselves, but particularly the women, because 80% of refugees are women and children, the women who take care of not only their own children, but orphans and sometimes the elderly, with an incredible dignity and courage.
Here we are facing issues which, if economic problems and human rights problems are solved, are still there, like criminalization, like prostitution, like forced trafficking, forced marriages inside of our communities.
For me, growing up under Taliban, it was in so many ways a normal way of growing up, because I was not exposed to anything but studying in a secret school for close to 6 years of Taliban. I went to a public school for the very first time in my life in 2002. I fell in love with what a public school can mean, having different teachers for different subjects and wearing a uniform that indicated that I was going to school, as opposed to hiding my books in grocery bags, pretending that I was just out shopping during Taliban. And that was, honestly, that was such a, every day was so energizing, being able to have classmates where we didn't have the fear of, today Taliban might walk into our school and kill us or behead our teacher because she was teaching us. All of a sudden realizing that education for girls is not a crime.
First woman to go to university in my family, a working class family, and so on. So when you think about the fact that for many young women, they're fighting the generational fights that we've enjoyed the benefit of in one lifetime, that's a very, very powerful challenge, and they need support.
And where women have been seen as the victims of war, of course, they are all victims of war. Mainly the rape that is happening, you see them, East Congo, don't need to name many of them. Women are victims of war, but they didn't create the war. They were not the one who initially I'm not saying that women are not part, but they are not the leader of creating the war in Africa. But yet, when it comes to participation to resolve the conflict, even though the UN say that they are the best equipped to resolve the conflict, but they are not participants.
We have this beautiful framework, you know, that we've inherited from the civil rights movement that says, at least on paper, that you can't discriminate based on ethnic or religious background, that there are laws on the books that I can go to and say, you know, I was denied a job because of the way that I look. And it's because of these concepts, at least on paper, that I am able to say we have to rise up as Americans and live up to our values and help America stretch and grow to include us as we are.
Qatar is developing a lot the human resources, both in the male and the woman and female. For example, if we think about education, we will find that His Highness and Her Highness Sheikh Moza played big role in developing women participations and developing different sectors in the society in Qatar. We will find that education, the woman is participation in education and the health and in many sectors in the country, and they play the rules to build our country and prepare for the future.
We need to break molds. We need to take the issues in our own hands in a manner that could be really making a difference in our perception. We have been celebrating for the first time ever last October 11th, the Day of the Girl. And we also celebrate on the 8th of March, the Day of the Woman. I think that we will make a great leap forwards once those 2 days would become redundant. There shouldn't be any days, not just one day for the girl and one day for women, because there are another 363 days where we need to prove that we can do what everybody else has been doing. And I feel that we should be praised, not because we are women, but because we are worth it. Thank you.